So I have the all clear. It's time to sneak in. Power.
Busted!
Alright.
Is that good enough?
You ready?
I guess so.
Alright, so you all know I've been living on somebody's property for the last few months, and I haven't told you who it is, but this is Jeff, just the dog in there, and he is Arizona Hot Homestead, right? Alright, and so he has been hosting me, I'm sure much to his chagrin, for the last few months. We haven't actually talked about it because he doesn't, want to say anything bad, but we had kind of a short discussion once where he talked about how some of what I've been going through reminded him of his first year. So I thought it would be interesting to get a little bit of perspective. How long have you been off grid now?
6
years. Okay. Just to get some looking back, because as I keep saying in my videos, the first year is the hardest usually, and you're in that steep learning curve, but when you get to be a lot more experienced, and that's what's on his channel, is a lot about how to actually do homesteading off-grid, you forget what it was like when you were brand new. So I'm going to turn it over to you. What have you, watching me kind of thrash around, what was it like for you your first year in hindsight?
The first year experience basically is so much being thrown at you. You kind of think you've got it, and you think you get prepared, and you just don't understand how -5 degrees, what that really means, because you think you can handle it because you handled 15 degrees, but -5 is totally different. And even though it's 10 degrees, it is. And then your winds, your rains. That first year I had, actually out of the 6 years been up here, that first year the rains was more than it's been maybe all the years together. And it gave me a really good understanding of where the water pulls up at, how it flows on the land, and etc. So that kind of changed, I think, everything, my first perspective of everything, because now I'm having to rethink it all. Originally I come in thinking, okay, I got to do this, 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 and that. Oh, wait a minute, I also have to think about this and that and this and etc. So yeah, you got to expect the unexpected.
Do you find even 6 years in you keep rethinking whatever your plan is, like it's constantly evolving?
Yeah, well, I've kind of joked around in some of my videos how it's almost a good thing that I'm doing this slow, because everything has changed 100 times. It's all changed that many times. And each time it's for the better. And there's things that I've done that I literally have had to redo 2 or 3 times because I thought I had it down, I thought I protected it, and wow, something just happened and I got to redo it. So
rats and mice suck. But one of the other things I wanted to ask about is, we haven't talked about it. I was like totally spazzy when I first got here the first couple of days. So you got witness to my craziness. But when you were by yourself, did you have times where you really just like couldn't take it anymore?
No, absolutely not.
All right, so it's just a girl thing and a me thing.
Well, no, because what I did before I even came out here was I spent not only 5 years looking for this property, at least 5 years, but I also spent that same time, even maybe longer, watching other people's experience on YouTube. Everything I've done, I've learned something from YouTube. And so for me to do my own channel was a way to give back, if you will, because of what I've learned throughout. So I had a good, I thought, understanding of what to expect. And because I like to take on those challenges, to me, I just see it as, hey, it's just one of those things. It's an obstacle, it's a challenge, and it makes you as a better person when you can overcome it.
And I think that's one of the things, I'm learning about myself and, ranchers, farmers, homesteaders, is it's a different personality type. I've been talking about the farmer versus the hunter-gatherer, and I'm not a farmer. And that's one of the reasons I don't get along as well with farmers and ranchers, is because I don't have that slow and steady personality. I'm much more like this. And, I've never talked about what that whole experience was like, and I don't think I ever will. Not here, but just the whole months and months of what happened. It was just too much. So, but I'm really aware that my personality is not homesteader farmer. It's like I want to be done, and then I want to go do other things. So do you find most of the people up here or have more of a farmer mentality, or do the people who are more like me that don't have the patience for it, they end up leaving? Because there's a lot of abandoned stuff out here.
Yeah, well, you end up with a good mixture of everything, because you do have abandon because people think, oh, it's so great to live off grid. It's inexpensive. It's kind of you running your own show. You don't have to rely on others. You rely on yourself, and then people realize how harsh it is. Like I said earlier about that 5 degrees, that -5. That's more harsh than you really think it is, especially when the high of that day was only 20. So, it's just one of those things where some people think, it'll be no problem, I can handle it. And then just because it's one thing after another, and if you don't have that mentality of like, what, it's just a simple obstacle, you just got to take care of business, that it does become overwhelming. And I think that's why people give up, because they have this glorified idea of what it might be like, and then they get there and it's too hard for them.
And I guess, one of the things I would say is that, from the mental health perspective and the personality, is that I do the same thing. I don't give up and I keep pushing forward. I'm just have a lot more of around it because I'm a girl. We won't talk about that. So if somebody wanted to do what I did, and do you think, was it horrible? I mean, because it really worked out for me to have somebody to back me up. So part of what was what I wanted from this experience was if it did get to be -5 and I'm over in the trailer and the fire won't start and I'm dying, that I had backup, or that I had a question, or that I can come, because I've never but once been able to get my power pack to 100% under my own means. So it gave me enough confidence that I wasn't going to get in over my head because I had backup. Because you didn't have that, right? You just did it all on your own?
Yeah, it was all on my own. But I think my backup was watching others on YouTube.
Well, it's different watching versus,
Correct.
It's 3 a.m. and your house is leaking and, it's freezing as it's coming in. Would you think it's a good idea, having watched what I did and doing it your way, to try? If you're mobile like me, you can't do it, obviously, if you're sedentary. But do you think that's a good idea, trying it with backup, or does it not matter?
Trying it with backup would be good, but I think the biggest thing is it's the whole piece of life. It's piss poor planning precedes piss poor performance. So you've got to plan, and even though you think you've got your plan, you don't. So you've got to continue to think outside the box. You got to continue to be asking yourself the what if. And even though, like I said, if you think you got it, you don't. So you got to continue to be. That's why I look so much on YouTube, watching other people do that, watching other people fail, so that I knew, okay, well, that person failed because of this. Now my approach is going to be slightly different. So it's just it's for some people, probably having that backup is probably the right thing to do, but for some who just, I guess, happen to think of the right questions, or happen to know, got that experience through others, that they're able to be a little bit more prepared, if you will. Because
what would you do if you didn't have YouTube, though?
Oh, well, I probably wouldn't be here. I probably would have failed. Because
all of what I've been talking about is grid up, grid down, and that's sort of one of my observations, is that it's a whole different universe, grid up, grid down, in terms of what you build. And so that's why I've always talked about the importance of people. But it is, it is hard. It's harder than I thought it would be. But, I'm just really grateful for you allowing me to plop on your land. To your credit, you haven't given me dirty looks and hostile energy to make me leave. But I am looking, so as soon as I find something, I will let you know. Anything you want to say before we cut out? Any last words?
I don't know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share.
And do you want to do a part 2 over on your channel?
Yeah.
All right, so Arizona Hot Homestead. There is an Arizona Homestead. He is Hot Homestead. So if you want to see what else we're going to talk about, I would cliffhanger you, but I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do. So I dare you to go look with that deep breath, and I will see you next time when you do the link below.